Welcome, dear soul. This is Brajendra Nd from 108lsa.com. Today bringing you a summary on the uptake of sugars from fruits into the body. It's actually a combination of sugars, which is called sucrose, mainly from fructose and glucose. But how does this actually work? So basically there are two ways to take up the fructose, part of the saccharose from fruits, and one is called the transcellular way, which goes directly through the cell, and then the other one is the paracellular way, which goes through the spaces in between the cells. So A, transcellularly by facilitated diffusion, and B, paracellularly by lactulose transport via glucose-activated solution drag. In the human small intestine, free glucose and fructose transport does not occur via the disaccharide system. The transcellular way is much more common though, and thus much more important for our considerations. The point is that glucose and fructose first have to be separated to be taken up by the human body, in the transcellular way as described before, from the intestine to the bloodstream. Fructose is also absorbed more slowly than glucose because it is transported passively through the aforementioned different transport system, specifically the GLUT5 enzyme, which gives access to the fructose to the intestinal cells, which then lead the fructose to the bloodstream. The actual transport from the intestinal cells to the bloodstream then is done by the GLUT2 enzyme. And for the uptake of the fructose, always there is a concentration gradient required. If there is a satiation on the bloodstream side, then no further fructose will be absorbed. Non-absorbed fructose will be by anaerobe or non-aerobe bacterial processes be reduced to carbon dioxide, hydrogen and short-chain fatty acids, which may lead to bloating, abdominal pain or diarrhea. So if there is not a high demand in the muscles, in the bloodstream, the brain, etc. for glycogen, then there may be some remnants which remain in the stomach, intestine, etc. And if that happens regularly, it may lead to fructose intolerance symptoms. So we should make sure that there is a real requirement, maybe train before taking fruits, and take only as much as we can actually absorb. So again, important to take away is that if we take fruit, which has almost equal amounts of glucose and fructose, then the uptake of fructose is enhanced. This means the next step is to look for fruits which have a good ratio between fructose and glucose. So here we go. But before we go there, let us look at some fruits which don't have the most optimal ratio. So the first one, which is a very popular one, is the mango. It has about 3 times the amount of fructose compared to glucose. Then we have the even popular apples, which have about 4 times the amount of fructose compared to glucose, but this shouldn't lead us to discard them completely. It just means that we can, or maybe we should not, eat big amounts of apples, but 1 or 2 apples a day certainly still a very healthy choice. And the pears have about 2.5 times the amount of fructose than glucose. Both mandarins and oranges have almost a 1-to-1 ratio. Now we're starting the good or the more favorable fruits for the uptake of glucose and fructose, especially the fructose. And now imagine the prunes. The prunes have about 2 times the amount of glucose than fructose. So that can really shift the balance, especially if you take dried ones. Then bananas also have an equal amount of fructose and glucose, and the papaya has about 3 times the amount of glucose compared to fructose. So I suggest that you make your own research. It's very simple. You go on Chronometer, you put in 1 kilo or 100 grams of your desired fruit, and then you check the carbohydrate section and you look in the sugar section, what is the ratio. Oh, and not to forget dates and figs, also very ideal 1-to-1 ratio, so very recommendable. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope everything is clear. If you have any comments or questions, you're welcome to ask. Further, you are invited to check the links in the description box, give a like to the video and share it with the world for the benefit of all. And we're looking forward to see you soon again on 108 LSA videos or our website. May the Om Love be with you. Jai Shri, Radhe Shyam.